laying back where the shadows stretch tall, counting patterns on a fading white wall. The ceiling fan spins a slow silver blur. Life moves in waves, but I leave it to her. I caught a feeling in the bottom of a glass, watching the heavy minutes finally pass. No need to run when the ground is so still, just leaning hard on a windowsill. Dust settles down on a stack of old news. I kicks off the tires, tear my shoes. The radiator hums a low steady tone under the gaze of a pale afternoon. The neighbors are arguing through the thin laugh, but I am drifting on a quieted path. Nothing to prove and nowhere to arrive, just glad to be feeling mostly alive. The clock on the mantle is losing the race. Time is a mask on a weary face. Let the world tumble outside of the gate. I have let in my everything settle their way.
Easy does it when the light starts to lane. Finding the spaces stuck somewhere between. It's a soft kind of gravity pulling me down, far from the noise of the frantic quiet town. Just a slow motion slide to the edge of the day, letting the frantic thoughts all wash away. Cool as the water at the bottom of a well, caught in the velvet of this momentary spell.
A distant siren sings a lonely sharp note, but it stays buoyant like a wooden oboe. The ice is melting in a ceramic bowl, while the quiet is feeding the rest of my soul. I used to worry about the climb and the fall. Now I am just leaning my back to it all. The brick in the morning feel pleasantly cold. Stories of motion don't need to be told.
The clock on the mantle is losing the race. Time is a mask on a weary face. Let the world tumble outside of the gate. I am letting in everything settle their way. Easy does it, then the light starts to lean. Finding the spaces tucked somewhere between. It is a soft kind of gravity pulling me down, far from the noise of the frantic monotone. Just a slow motion slide to the edge of the day, letting the frantic thoughts all wash away. Cool as the water at the bottom of a well, caught in the velvet of this momentary spell. Just a lean, finding the spaces stuck somewhere between. It is a soft kind of gravity pulling me down, far from the noise of the frantic part of town. Just a slow motion slide to the edge of the day, letting the frantic thoughts all wash away. Cool as the water at the bottom of a well, caught in the velvet of this momentary bell.
Caught in the velvet.
When the light starts to lean, finding the spaces tucked somewhere between. It is a soft kind of gravity pulling me down, far from the noise of the frantic part of town.
Lean back in the velvet chair, let the timepiece slide. Sun settling slow on the western side, watching the shadows stretch across the floor. I don't need to chase the ghosts no more. Ice cubes dancing in a glass of gold. Stories of the hustle getting gray and old. Just a steady pulse in the cooling air, running fingers through the quiet like I just don't care. Gravity is loosening its heavy kryptonite, floating on the charcoal edges of the fading light. Soft focus on the world outside the pain. Silver linings washing out the heavy southern rain. Everything is breathing at a slower pace, finding all the beauty in the empty space. The speakers humming low with the dusty groove, too comfortable to make a sudden move. No boxes left to check, no numbers left to climb. Just me and the echoes of a simpler time. Through the window see the street lamps start to glow, watching all the frantic people rushing down below. I'm a million miles away from the jagged noise, trading in the static for the steady mental poise. The pressure's lifting like a morning mist, the kind of moment that you can't resist. Turning down the volume of the frantic crowd, the silence is the only thing that's loud. Gravity is loosening its heavy grip tonight, floating on the charcoal edges of the fading light. Soft focus on the world outside the pain. Silver linings washing out the heavy southern rain. Everything finding all the beauty in the empty space. Of a bathing light, soft focus on the world outside the bay. Silver linings washing out the heavy southern rain. Everything is breathing out is so appraised. Finding all the beauty in the empty space.
Against the faded velvet chair, the ceiling fan spins patterns through the stagnant air. Dust mops dancing in a golden patch of light. No heavy burdens left to carry into the night. Ice cubes drinking in a plastic soda cup. I let the clock run down just to wind it up. Static crackles on the broken radio dial. Found a silver lining in a dusty floor tile. Window open just enough to catch a breeze. Watching shadows stretching out among the trees. Telephone is silent and the door is locked tight. Trading every shadow for a sudden flash of sight. Neighborhood is humming like a distant hollow shell. Counting every pebble near the old dry well. Nothing on the agenda but the passing of the hours. Center rainy pavement mixed with wilted flowers.
Take it slow, let the current find its own way. Moving through the gray parts of an ordinary day. No more running just to find a place to stand. Letting all the hourglass slip through an open can. Weightless in the middle of a heavy kind of brace. Finding every corner of a quiet hidden space. Let the tide pull back until the shore is wide and clear. Everything is distant and nothing is too near.
The map is just a scribble on a napkin on the floor. I stopped looking for the key and simply left the door. Yesterday's a photograph fading in the sun. Tomorrow is a race that I have already won. I'm staying exactly where the floorboards meet the wall. Watching how the leaves prepare themselves for the fall. No more shouting at the wind to change its mind. Leaving every tangled thread and every knot behind. The cat is sleeping on a stack of old magazines, dreaming of emotions and the places in between. Coffee turned to cold mud at the bottom of the pot. Taunting satisfaction in the little that I got. Walked 1,000 miles just to sit upon this porch, putting out the fire without dropping the torch. Sunlight hitting brick, we're turning orange into gold. Stories of the quietness are the only ones I told.
Everything is settling like settlement and wine. Crossing out the borders and the heavy bottom line. Lungs are feeling steady with the cool evening mist.
Crossing every struggle off a long forgotten list.
Take it low, let the current find its own way. Moving through the great parts of an ordinary day. No more running just to find a place to stand. Getting on the hourglass or through an open hand. Weightless in the middle of a heavy kind of race. Finding every corner of a quiet hidden space. Let the tide pull back and feel always wide and clear. Everything is distant and nothing is too near. Find its own way, moving through the gray clouds of an ordinary day. No more running just to find a place to stand. Letting all the hourglass slip through an open hand. Weightless in the middle of a heavy kind of place. Finding every corner of a quiet hidden space. Let the tide pull back until the shore is wide and clear. Everything is distant and nothing is too near. Take it slow, let the current find its own way. Moving through the great parts of an ordinary day. No more running just to find a place to stand. Letting all the hourglass to do an open hand. Aimless in the meaning of a heavy kind of grace. Find a vertical chord, whatever quiet in the space. Let the tide pull back until the shore is wide and clear. Everything is distant and nothing is too near. Everything is distant and nothing is too near.
Midnight leans heavy on the concrete balcony, watching the city lights blur like a slowly. Ice cubes knocking against the glass cavity, quiet as the dust on a vinyl from last week. Just a low hum vibrating through the floorboards. No need to shout over the static of the street. The mind drifts away from the timber cords, feeling the tension dissolving to the heat. Everything moves in a golden suspension. Gravity loses its hold on the room. No more friction and no more pretension. Petals unfold in the midst of soft bloom. The dial is turned to a frequency unknown. Heavy eyes tracing a pattern on the wall, building a world that is strictly my own. Waiting for nothing but the shadows to fall. Parked cars glimmer like beetles in the dark. The radiator hisses a dull white noise. Somewhere a dog provides a distant bark. A balance found in the middle of the chords. Counting the cracks that trace the ceiling line, filtering thoughts through a hazy silk screen. The air tastes like copper and aged wine. Living a moment that remains unseen. Everything moves in a golden suspension. Gravity loses its hold on the room. No more friction and no more pretension. Petals unfold in the midst of soft bloom. Everything moves in a golden suspension. Gravity loses its hold on the room. No more friction and no more pretension. Petals unfold in the midst of soft bloom. Gravity loses its hold on the room. No more friction and no more pretension. Petals unfold in the midst of soft bloom. Rolling down the concrete artery as the sunset bleeds orange. The dashboard black is frozen, but I'm moving with the current. Nothing on my schedule, just the hum of rubber on the pavement. Trading all my deadlines for a movement of this pavement placement. My thoughts are like the clouds drifting slow above the skyline. No longer measuring my worth by the ticking of a lifeline. I found a frequency that resonates beneath the heavy noise. Just a quiet focus in the equilibrium of poise.
Whatever weight was on my shoulders fell away along the route. I'm breathing in the clarity and blowing out the doubt. Let the world spin its wheels while I'm gliding through the space. I found a private temple in the steady, gentle pace. No need to chase a shadow or a ghost inside the machine. Just resting in the middle of a panoramic scene.
Yeah, I used to build a fortress out of pixels and a dust. Now I'm leaning in the silence for a spirit I can trust. The shadows stretch along across the empty parking lot. Appreciate the simple things that money never buy. A cooling breeze is filtering through the half-open pane, washing off the residue of a week inside the rain. The city lights are flickering like candles in the distance. I'm meeting every hurdle with the velvet soft resistance. Yeah.
Whatever weight was on my shoulders fell away along the route. I'm breathing in the clarity and blowing out the doubt. Let the world spin its wheels while I'm gliding through the space. I found a private temple in the steady, gentle pace. No need to chase a shadow or a ghost inside the machine. Just rested in the middle of a panoramic scene. Whatever weight was on my shoulders fell away along the route. I'm breathing in the clarity clarity, I'm blowing out the doubt. Let the world spin its wheels while I'm gliding through the space. I found a private temple in a steady, gentle pace. No need to chase a shadow or a ghost inside the machine. Just resting in the middle of a panoramic scene.
Sliding down a velvet groove of the interstate. No pressure on the clock, skipping past the garden gate. The dashboard light glows like a low burning flame. I'm checking out the window, forget my middle name. Just a passenger to the motion of the wheels turning, fading out the noise while the amber sky is yearning. I found a pocket in the air where the gravity is thin. Let the silence settle heavy on my sun-kissed skin. Pour a little water on the dust of the day. Watch the heavy expectations simply melt away. My pulse is steady beating like a drum in the deep. Secrets that the valley and the canyon wanna keep. Coffee in a ceramic cup, steam rising slow. I'm nowhere in particular with everywhere to go. The static on the frequency is fading out of range. Wrapped up in a feeling that I wouldn't wanna change. Gold on the horizon where the middle meets the blue. Soft light dancing on the morning dew. Easy as the breathing of the wind through the pines, tracing out the patterns of the intricate designs. Weightless in the moment as the world spins around, lifting up my feet without leaving the ground. Everything is moving at the speed of peace, waiting for the tension of the city to release. Not a cloud in the vision, just the clarity of soul. Let the fragments of the broken pieces finally be whole. No map for the spirit, no compass for the mind, leaving heavy, heavy burden far enough behind. The shadows are long and they stretch across the floor. I don't need a key, I don't need a locked door. Looking at the river as it carves through the stone, content with the company of being all alone. The trees lean in like they're sharing out a tale of the ships that are moving with the quiet linen sail. I put my phone away and I listen to the birds, a melody that speaks without the clutter of the words. Just a slow motion blink in the middle of the rush, painting out the landscape with a very gentle brush. Gold on the horizon where the mail meets the blue. Soft light dancing on the morning dew. Easy as the breathing of the wind through the pines, tracing out the pattern of the intricate designs. Faithless in the moment as the world spins around, lifting up my feet without reaching the ground. Everything is moving at the speed of peace, waiting for the tension of the city to release. Gold on the horizon where the meadow meets the blue. Soft light dancing on the morning dew. Easy as the breathing of the wind through the pines, tracing out the patterns of the intricate designs. Weightless in the moment that the world spins around, lifting up my feet without winning the crown. Everything is moving at the speed of peace, waiting for the tension of the city to release.
Sliding down the velvet street while the sun begins to fade, the shadows stretching memories through the evening masquerade. Low fidelity vibrations humming through the heavy air. I find it quite a sanctuary in a simple wooden channel. Ticking clocks to push the pace, a force of frantic moves, just a steady pulse that finds a way to settle in the groove. Let the static wash away the static growing in my head. Focus on the breathing and the golden honey thread. The coffee steam is swirling like a ghost above the cup. The world is rushing frantic, but I never look it up. A catalog of moments filed away within the dust dusty shelf, taking back the minutes that I promised to myself. I can hear the sour chatter turning into distant waves, saving all the energy the rest of the city craves. Nothing needs an answer or a sudden sharp reply, watching how the violet clouds are drifting through the sky. Take it slow and let the heavy ceiling lift away, floating on the current at the closing of the day. Every heavy ocean turning light as morning dew, looking for a balance in a panoramic view. Ease into the stillness, let the heavy tension break, cooler than the surface of a floating mountain lake. Everything is steady, everything is shining clear, nothing but the softness of the atmosphere right here. Unplug the wire and the noise begins to cease, trading all the chaos for a temporary peace. But gravity is shifting and the pressure feels so thin, opening the windows, letting all the cooling in. No destination needed, just the motion of the glide, winding on the swell of an incoming velvet tide. The universe is spinning but the center staying still, casting off the weight against a sudden winter chill. The record's been a circle like a planet in the night, bathed in nothing more than just a dim and amber light. Walking through a garden where the concrete used to grow, learning how to let the river find its natural flow. Every heavy sentence turning into simple sound, keeping both my weary feet upon the solid ground. Tomorrow has its problem but the sunset belongs to me, sailing through the silence in a private galaxy. Take it slow and let the heavy ceiling lift away, floating on the hermit at the closing of the day. Every heavy motion turning light as morning dew, looking for a balance in the panoramic view. Ease into the stillness, let the heavy tension break, cooler than the surface of a frozen mountain lake. Everything is steady, everything is shining clear, nothing but the softness of the atmosphere right here.
Coffee steam wanders through a dusty afternoon ray. The city hums a low 2 miles away from here. I watch the needle chase the spinning black valley, collecting every crackle and every silent fear. My sneakers rest heavy on a crate of older dreams, while the radiator sighs like it's trying to let go. Window frames holding on to peeling flakes of white. The ceiling fan spins a circle around my mind. I drift between the seconds of a ticking clock, finding patterns in the shadow play that I find. No rush to capture what was never meant to stay, just a steady pulse moving through the gray light.
Slow down the motion of the wandering breeze, let the entire branches bend down to their knees. Everything floats when the wind starts to lift, giving the day just another small shift. Steady and easy until the sun starts to lean, finding a space in the quiet between.
Maybe the answers are written in the fading ink of letters never mailed to a version of myself. They sit on the corner of a crowded wooden shelf, giving me a reason to stop and let it sink.
That the stillness is a mountain I finally climb. Perfectly lonely and perfectly timed.
Yeah, yeah. The street lamps flicker on like a collective thought, gold pouring down on the asphalt and the stone marking through the echoes at the evening broad. Never feeling less than when I'm standing here alone. Another scratchy loop plays inside my weary head, smoothing out the edges of everything I said.
The horizon is drawing a soft purple light, erasing the maps and the secrets of design. Keeping the pace of a slow rolling tide. Nowhere to run and nowhere to hide. Down the motion of the wandering beat, let the tired branches bend down to their knees. Everything floats when the weight starts to lift, keeping the day just another small shift. Steady and easy until the sun starts to lean, finding a space and the quiet between. Slow down the motion of the another small shift, steady and easy until the sun starts to lean, finding a space in the quiet between.
Pavement catches the low sun. Dust motes dancing where the heavy work is done. I stepped out the frame just to see the canvas clear. The hustle is a ghost that can no longer reach my ear. Nothing to prove while the clock hands pull a slow drag. I keep my spirit tucked inside a velvet travel bag. The concrete is breathing through the cracks in the stone. A peaceful pink sitting on a simple folding throne. So there's a river moving under the old bridge. I find my center on a quiet mountain ridge. No heavy baggage, just the air inside my chest. The soul is at ease, let the weary shadows rest. Flowing like water when the tide starts to retreat. Finding the magic in the stillness of the street.
Scanning the horizon for a different kind of grace. Leaving every worry in a far and distant place. The clouds drift by like thoughts I chose to let go. Watching how the garden starts to naturally grow. No frantic movement, just a steady kind of ease. Filtering the sunlight through the swaying of the trees. A city humming in a key I finally understand. Holding all the silence like a diamond in my hand.
Feel there's a river moving under the old bridge. I found my center on a quiet mountain ridge. No heavy baggage, just the air inside my chest. The soul is at ease, let the weary shadows rest. Flowing like water when the tide starts to retreat. Finding the magic in the stillness of the street. Smooth as a river moving under the old bridge. I find my center on a quiet mountain ridge. No heavy baggage, just the air inside my chest. The soul is at ease, let the weary shadows rest. Flowing like water when the tide starts to retreat. Finding the magic in the stillness of the street. Stains the sidewalk in the faded shade of gold. Counting every story that the concrete has to hold. My speakers drag a little as I balance on the line. Not looking for a treasure, just enjoying all my time. The morning mist is lifting like a curtain on the street. I feel the gentle friction of the earth beneath my feet. No sirens in the distance and no pressure in the air. Just a pocket full of nothing and no spirit without care.
I watch the heavy clouds rolling slowly through the sky. They don't ask for permission and they never tell a lie. The coffee in my palm turns a vapor to my face, while everybody else is trying to win a hollow race.
I find a wooden bench near the corner of the park. Wait until the daylight leaves the soft and subtle walk. There is beauty in the stillness that the busy people miss. A quiet kind of magic in a simple moment like this.
Take it easy as the world spins around. Watch the shadows lengthen on the cooling ground. No need to hurry with the destination stays. Lost within the comfort of these amber-colored days. Keep the moment steady like a river through the sea. Finding all the pieces of the man I want to be.
Yeah. The shop across the alley starts to open up its door. The broom across the threshold makes a scratch up on the floor. I nod to every stranger who is heading for the train, seeing all the patterns like the cycles of the rain. My mind is like a canvas that is finally coming clean, filtering the static of the static on the screen. Write it in the margins of a book I never read, letting go of every heavy thought inside my head.
Take it easy as the world spins around. Watch the shadows lengthen on the cool. man I wanna be, yeah.
Walking down the boulevard where the shadows bend, watching how the daylight starts to meet the end. No heavy lifting on the mind, just a steady pace, finding all the patterns in this open space. The concrete feels a little softer under my feet. Melodies are drifting from the cross of the street. Everything is moving like a slow motion film, staying on the edges of this quiet realm. Clock on the wall has forgotten how to chime. I'm making circles in the fabric of time. Got the windows open, let the breeze do the talk, leaving all the heavy baggage on the sidewalk. Cup of black coffee turning cold on the tray, watching all the static simply wither away. There is a certain kind of magic in the pause, life without the pressure of the hidden loss. Golden light is spilling through the cracks in the door. I don't need a chase to go, so before let the world rotate on a different axis now. I am just existing and I finally learned how. Keep the volume low, filter out the noise, finding all the balance in the simple joy. Riding on the current of a seamless flow, taking every second, nowhere left to go. Old record spinning with a slight bit of dust, building up a kingdom out of mutual trust. The colors in the garden looking vivid and deep. Promises are made, all the ones I'm gonna keep. On my climate ladder just to see the view. Everything is vivid and everything is new. I can see the shoreline from where I stand, tracing out the map on the palm of my hand. Golden light is spilling through the cracks in the door. I don't need a chase to go, so before let the world rotate on a different axis now. I am just existing and I finally learned how. Keep the volume low, filter out the noise, finding all the balance in this simple joy. Riding on the current of a seamless flow, taking every second, nowhere left to go. Spilling through the cracks in the down. I don't need a chase to go, so before let the girl rotate on a different axis now. I am just existing and I finally learned how. Keep the volume low, filter out the noise, finding all the balance in the simple joy. Riding on the current of a seamless flow, taking every second, nowhere left to go.
Spinning, but I'm static in the sea, tracing golden patterns on the pavement in the heat. Low fidelity drifting through the open window frame. Lately all the faces in the city look the same. Dust settles on the record stack high against the wall, waiting for a heavy rain to finally break the fall. Got a pocket full of silence and a head full of gray, watching all the frantic people throw their lives away. Barefoot on the carpet while the kettle starts to steam, floating on the border of a waking heavy beam. No notifications flickering across the dim screen, just a steady pulse of something quiet in the scene. Coffee stains mapping out a world I used to know, taking every second faster, letting every minute go. They keep chasing shadows in the marathon for lead. I am finding solace in the words I never said. Sunlight crawling slow across the wooden floorboards, ignoring all the pressure and the clashing of the swords. Just a steady motion like the tide against the pier. Everything is distant and nothing creates fear. Gravity is loosening its grip upon the soul, feeling like a fragment that is finally turning whole. Let the engine idle, let the battery run down. I am king of nothing in a tiny paper crown. Clouds moving heavy like the dragon silk sheets, Counting all the pulse points in these empty side streets. Final surface stretching as the needle finds a groove. Waiting for the spirit and the bones to finally move. I don't need a compass when I'm walking in a blur. Memory is hazy like a coat of winter fur. Found a little wisdom in the bottom of a cup. Looking for a reason not to wake the morning up. Telephones are ringing in the building far away. I can hear the giants as they crumble in the clay. Planting seeds of patience in the cracks of the concrete. Working on a rhythm of my own uneven beat. Maybe there is power in the way we choose to pause. Breaking every line, ruling secondary laws. Cooler than the shadows in the cellar underground. Safe within the borders of the solace I have found. Sunlight crawling slower on the wooden floorboards. Ignoring all the pressure and the clashing of the swords. Just a steady motion like the tide against the pier. Everything is distant and enough to create fear. Gravity is loosening its grip upon the soul. Feeling like a fragment that is finally turning whole. Let the engine idle, let the battery run down. I am king of nothing in a tiny paper crown.
Hands spinning, but they don't mean a thing. Lean back heavy, watching golden haze swing. The world keeps rushing past the window pane, while I'm just drifting in a slow lane. Ice cubes melting in a glass of purple tea. Nothing in this moment demands a piece of me. Dust motes dancing in the afternoon glow. Watching how the shadows take the time to grow. No pressure on the lungs, just a steady breath. Walking on the edges, life ignoring death. The weight of the grind is at an all-time zero. In my own story, I'm finally the hero. Low frequency vibrations underneath the floor, leaving every heavy current outside the door. Gravity is gentle, let the mind just float. Sailing on a calm sea in a wooden boat. Steady with the pulse, keep the spirit aligned. Leaving ever frantic, worry far behind. Soft focus vision through a panoramic lens. This is where the struggle finally ends. Static on the radio, sounds like falling rain. Wash away the tension and the phantom pain. Feet up on the desk, head tilted to the sky. Watching cotton candy clouds drifting on by. Phone on silent, let the notifications pile. I'll get back to reality in a little while. Right now the groove is a velvet embrace. Finding my own temple in this quiet. No rushing on the lawn, just a steady breath. Walking on the edge of life, ignoring death. The weight of the grind is at an all-time zero. In my own story, I am finally the hero. Low frequency vibrations underneath the floor, leaving every heavy burden outside the door. Gravity is gentle, let the mind just flow. Sailing on the calm sea in a wooden boat. Steady with the pulse, keep the spirit alive. Leaving the frantic worry far behind. Soft focus vision through a panoramic lens. This is where the struggle finally wins. Maybe the secret is a new one, absolutely nothing. Instead of always hunting for that something, the universe unfolds when you stop your chase. Finding all the answers at a human pace. Just exist for a second in the middle of the hum. Let the clarity arrive, let the healing come. See my brain under the floor, leaving every heavy burden outside the door. Gravity is gentle, let the mind just flow. Sailing on a calm sea in a wooden boat. Steady with the pull, keep the spirit alive. Leaving every frantic worry far behind. Soft focus, digital panoramic lens. This is where the struggle finally ends. Low frequency vibrations underneath the floor, leaving every heavy burden outside the door. Gravity is gentle, let the mind just flow. Sailing on a calm sea in a wooden boat. Steady with the pull, keep the spirit alive. Leaving every frantic worry far behind. Soft focus, digital panoramic lens. This is where the struggle finally ends.
drifting past the windowsill slow. Watch a shadow stretch across the wooden floor. Coffee steam curling in a quiet dance. Lost inside a momentary trance. No ticking clocks to dictate the pace. Just a soft filter of light on my face. Old vinyl spinning with a gentle scratch. Setting free the latch of a mind unmatched. Street noise filtered through the heavy glass. Watching the city workers and the buses pass. But I am anchored in this velvet sea. Tracing the patterns where the corners meet. Simple thoughts flowing like a quiet stream. Somewhere in the middle of a waking dream. Shoes kicked off by the hallway door. I don't need to look for any more. Steady gliding on the atmosphere. Leaving every heavy burden over here. Weightless movement in a static room. Flowers of the silence starting to bloom. Just a steady motion in the mind. Leaving all the pressure far behind. Tracing circles in the open air. Content to be exactly staying there. Movement in a static room. Flowers of the silence starting to bloom. Just a steady motion in my mind. Leaving all the pressure far behind. Tracing circles in the open air. Content to be exactly staying there. No destination needed for the soul. The lack of purpose makes the spirit whole. Gravity is just a concept now. The tension fades away from my brow. A suspension of the daily grind. Peace is the only treasure I find. Golden hour taking straps upon the wall. Listening to the evening start to call. But I am staying in this golden haze. Navigating through the mental maze. With the calmness that is hard to name. The burning fire turns into a flame. Gentle wave hitting on a mental shore. I am finding what I was looking for. Cool breeze shaking at the ivy leaves. Deep breaths falling like the autumn leaves. Nothing urgent pressing on my time. Finding meaning in a simple rhyme. The world keeps spinning out of frenzied rage. But I am choosing to simply wait. In the stillness where the truth resides. Watching the shifting of the inner tides. Steady glide among the atmosphere. Leaving every heavy burden overhead. Weightless movement in a static room. Flowers of the silence starting to bloom. Just a steady motion in the mind. Leaving all the pressure far behind. Tracing circles in the open air. Content to be exactly staying there. Steady gliding on the atmosphere. Leaving every heavy burden overhead. Weightless movement in a static room. Flowers of the silence starting to bloom. Just a steady motion in the mind. Leaving all the pressure far behind. Tracing circles in the open air. Content to be exactly staying there. I lean back into the velvet of the afternoon. Watching shadows stretch across the wooden floor. Small change clinking in a pocket out of tune. The golden hour slipping through the open door. Dust motes dancing in a silver strip of light. Ticking clocks are distant like a fading train. Everything is heavy but the weight is feeling right. Cooler air is washing out the summer grain. The coffee cup is leaving circles on the wood. Steam is rising slowly like a quiet prayer. Thought about the things I never understood, but let them vanish in the stillness of the air. Old sneakers resting by the weather garden gate. The neighborhood is humming at a lower key. Nowhere left to hurry and it's never late. Just a steady pulse of being wild and free. The horizon dips its head and turns to slate. Gravity is gentle when the world is still. Losing all the pressure of the heavy free. Moving at the motion of a steady will. Floating on the surface of the quiet tide. No more reaching out for what is out of hand. Let the frantic motion of the city slide.
Planting solid feet upon the coolest sand. Softness in the temple and a hollow chest. Breathing in the comfort of easy flow. Find a little corner for the heart to rest. Everywhere is exactly where I need to go. Working spinning circles on a plastic tray. Crackling like a fire in a distant room. The bitter taste of honey at the end of day. The evening garden starting its collective bloom. Neighbors sharing stories on a brick porch. The smell of charcoal drifting from a nearby fence. Nobody is trying to carry out a torch. Making peace with every single consequence. I found a letter folded in a dusty book. Written by a version of a younger man. Giving back the secrets that the seasons took. Building up a future on a simple plan. The sky is turning purple like a bruised fruit. Stars are peeking through the canopy of leaves. Taking off the armor and the heavy suit. The quietest of honors that are so with these. The horizon dips its head and turns to slate. Gravity is gentle when the world is still. Losing on the pressure of that heavy crate. Moving at the motion of a steady wheel. Floating on the surface of the quiet tide. No more reaching out for what is out of care. Let the frantic motion of a city slide. Planting solid feet upon the going sand. Softness in the temple and a hollow chest. Breathing in the comfort of the easy flow. Find a wood corner for the heart to rest. Everywhere stage exactly where I need to go.
Back into the velvet seat while the clock hands slow down their race. The radiator hums a low frequency just to fill up the empty space. There is a map traced in coffee stains on the table that knows my name. I am watching the pigeons on the rooftop playing a quiet survival game. The street lamp is flickers like a heavy eyelid, tired of the evening glare. I am caught in the middle of a thought, being suspended in the air. No need to run toward a finish line that moves every time I breathe. The city is a giant machine, but right now I am letting it see. The ice in my glass is melting into a puddle of translucent blue. I am finding the silver lining in every shade of an honest hue. The static on the radio sounds like a waterfall built out of wood. I would explain how I feel to the world if I thought the world understood. But silence is a heavy blanket and I'm pulling it over my head. Counting the syllables of the unspoken things that we should have said. My sneakers are worn at the heels from walking on paths that led nowhere. I am breathing the heavy oxygen that lingers in the cool evening air. This is the drift, where the gravity loosens its grip on the bone of steady vibration that tells me I am never entirely alone. The weight of the day is a coat that I drop on the hardwood floor. I am stepping through a passageway without even opening a door. It is smooth like the surface of a lake when the wind decides to rest. Unfolding the crumpled papers that I kept hidden inside my chest. We ripple and fade like a signal lost in the reach of the high trees. Finding the balance in the subtle sway of the deep midnight breeze. I watch the smoke from a neighbor's chimney curl into a question mark. Tracing the geometry of the shadow shifting around in the dark. The pavement is still warm from a sun that disappeared hours ago. I am learning my secret language of the things that refuse to grow.
My mind is a library where the books are all shelved by their scent. Recollecting the fragments of time and wondering where they all went. There is a crack in the ceiling that looks like a river seen from a plane. I am listening to the rhythm of the tires rolling through the soft rain. The pressure is off the valve and the theme is beginning to clear. I am shedding the skin of a person that was at the start of the year. The horizon is narrowing down to the glow of a single lit fuse. I have nothing to gain today, so I have absolutely nothing to lose. This is the drift, when the gravity loosens its grip on the bone. A steady vibration that tells me I am never entirely alone. The weight of the day is the coat that I drop on the harbor floor. I am stepping through a catchway without even opening a door. It is smooth like the surface of the lake when the wind decides to rest. Unfolding crumpled papers that I kept hidden inside my chest. We ripple and fade like a signal lost in the reach of the high trees. Finding a balance in the subtle sway of the deep midnight breeze.
I settle down in a gravity chair, watching the twilight bend. The afternoon just folded its hands like an old reliable friend. The sidewalk heat is finally starting to lose its stubborn bite, while the neighbor's shadows stretch out long and wait for the coming light. I got no questions for the clock, since it lost its silver hands. Just tracing the lines of the loose dust and the shifting yellow sand. There is a sweet kind of silence that flows through the window screen, telling stories of all the quiet paces my tired eyes have seen. The record spins a slow circle while the needle finds the groove. I am feeling the heavy pulse of the earth making its subtle move. No need to chase the lightning when the embers glow so deep. I am harvesting the kind of calm that the busy cannot keep. My thoughts are clear as the water at the bottom of a stone well, escaping the iron ring of the midday's frantic bell. Just a cup of cold tea and a breeze from the western coast, making peace with the many things that matter to me the most. Slow down and spin a world until the edges start to blur. Find the secret center where the softest memories stir. The weight is off my shoulders now, the struggle has gone thin, letting all the golden stillness from the outer world move in. No tether to the worry, no ladder to the sky. Watching all the heavy clouds just drift on lazily by. Settled in the valley where the air is cool and wide, taking every single thing in a long and easy stride. Slow down and spin a world until the edges start to blur. Find the secret center where the softest memories stir. The weight is off my shoulders now, the struggle has gone thin, letting all the golden stillness from the outer world move in. No tether to the worry, no ladder to the sky. Watching all the heavy clouds just drift on lazily by. Settled in the valley where the air is cool and wide, taking every single thing in a long and easy stride. The street lamps flicker on, but they cannot touch my mood. I am feasting on the riches of this holy solitude. The cat is curled in a velvet ball on a corner of the rug. Every breath I take feels like a warm and honest hug. I used to run for the prizes that were only made of tin, but tonight I am exactly where my life was meant to begin. Nothing left to prove, and there is nothing left to gain. Just the steady sound of the wind through the ripening grain. Slow down and spin the world until the day you start to blur. Find the sequence in the red, soft as never stir. The weight is off my shoulders now, the struggle has gone thin, letting all the golden illness from me out the world move in. No better than the worry, no better to the sky. Watching all the heavy clouds just drift on lazily by. Setting in the valley where the air is cool and wide, taking every single thing in a long and easy stride. Slow down and spin the world until the edges start to blur. Find the sequence in the red, soft as never stir. The weight is off my shoulders now, the struggle has gone thin, letting all the golden illness from me out the world move in. No tether to the worry, no ladder to the sky. Watching all the heavy clouds just drift on lazily by. Settled in the valley where the air is cool and wide,
along an easy stride. Yeah, I sit by the window, watching the clouds move slow, tracing the patterns where the summer breezes blow. The coffee in my mug stopped steaming an hour ago, but I am lost in the steady pace of the undertow. No pressure on the clock, just adrift into space. The sunlight moves across the lines upon my face. I find my center in the quiet of this lonely place, running a marathon but keeping a walking pace. The street looks like a painting from this altitude, a perfect balance between emotion and the solitude. I swap the heavy metal for a softer kind of mood, refusing every shadow that is trying to intrude. My sneakers hit the pavement with the velvet sound, looking for the beauty that is waiting to be found. Keeping my head high while I stay up on the ground, spinning the world until the stillness comes around. Take a deep breath and let the gravity fade away. We found a hidden pocket in the middle of the day. Let the colors bleed into a gentle shade of gray. There is nothing left to prove and nothing left to say. Just a steady pulse vibrating through the floor, opening the latch on every tidy bolted door, leaving all the heavy burdens lying on the shore, because we finally found the peace we were looking for. I am painting pictures with the ink inside my brain, washing off the dust and all the residue of strain. The radio was humming like a soft and steady rain, clearing out the clutter and the memory of pain. No need to rush the finish or to win the race. I am comfortable with every inch of empty space, finding the harmony within the slow embrace of a moment that the ticking gears can never chase. Take a deep breath and let the gravity fade away. We found a hidden pocket in the middle of the day. Let the colors lead into a gentle shade of gray. There is nothing left to prove and nothing left to say. Just a steady pulse vibrating through the floor, opening the latch on every tightly bolted door, leaving all the heavy burdens lying on your shore, because we finally found the peace we were looking for. Take a deep breath and let the gravity fade away. We found a hidden pocket in the middle of the day. Let the colors lead into a gentle shade of gray. There is nothing left to prove and nothing left to say. Just a steady pulse vibrating through the floor, opening the latch on every tightly bolted door, leaving all the heavy burdens lying on me, all because we finally found the peace we were looking for. I watch the clouds drift past the brick and stone. The city hums a low and steady tone. My coffee cooling in a chip ceramic cup. I'm looking down just to find a way up. No ticking clocks to tell me where to go, just a silver river and its heavy flow. The afternoon is stretching like a cat in the sun, thinking about the battles that I haven't begun. The speakers breathe the dusty velvet south, lifting every shadow off the tired ground. I find a pocket in the middle of the noise, leaving behind the clutter and the hollow toys. My thoughts are spinning like a record or a plate, moving slow enough to bypass every gate. The light is filtered through a shade of pale blue, a quiet clarity that's finally coming through. Gravity is letting go of its grip on me, floating through the layers of its chemistry. Simple patterns in the way the colors blend, minding where the edges start to bend. No more chasing visions through the thickest haze, just a steady pulse through the lazy days. Everything is balanced on a fine thin wire, cooling down the embers of the frantic fire. Soft thin corners on a sharp and jagged world, wait for every secret to be slowly unfurled. Nothing hidden in the space between the breaths. Life is moving easy through the heights and depths. The frequency is settled on a mellow key. Whatever used to bind is finally setting free. I lean my head against the cold window pane. The sky is clearing after hours of the rain. A different kind of motion in the stillness here, watching all the static suddenly disappear. Footsteps tapping on the pavement down below, but I'm staying leveled in the amber glow. The world is shifting at a pace I can't embrace, leaving not a single hint of a trace. The pressure's lifted from the heavy air,
I find the comfort in the quiet there. A gentle turn within the golden hour, giving back the peace and the subtle power. Remedy is letting go of its grip on me, flowing through the layers of this chemistry. Simple atoms in the way the colors blend, finding where the edges start to bend. No more chasing visions through the thickest haze, just a steady pulse through the lengthy days. Everything is cobblestone is lined in a wire, cooling down the embers of the frantic fire.
Floating through the layers of this chemistry. Simple patterns in the way the colors blend, finding where the edges start to bend. No more chasing visions through the thickest cave, just a steady pulse through the lazy day. Every blink is balanced on a sounding wire, cooler got the embers of the frantic fire.
Late night, amber glowing in the glass, watching all the heavy hours slowly pass. I sit behind the window pane where the city looks small, measuring the shadows stretching out across the wall. The concrete is breathing with the low steady hum, waiting for the morning but the morning hasn't come. My thoughts are like old coins rattling in a jar, wondering exactly where the quiet people are. I found a dusty map hidden underneath the bed, tracing out the pathways that is stuck inside my head. The silence is a blanket that I pull up to my chin, listen to the places where the melody gets thin. No need for the frantic or the rush of the street, just a soft vibration of a steady walking beat. Every single soul has a secret they won't sell, ringing like the hammer on an iron foundry bell.
Starlight filters through the rust and the brine, taking back a portion of my borrowed time. Let the gravity pull until the edges grow soft, lifting every burden from the dusty halo. It is easy to be simple when the world goes dark, searching for the flicker of a solitary spark. Keep the motion easy, keep the water flowing deep, while the rest of the kingdom is sinking in the sleep.
The clock on the mantle has forgotten how to chime. It's a long way down from the peak of the climb. I am trading my worry for a breath of cool air, knowing that the answers were already right there. Not in shouting nor the frantic display, but in the silver lining of a sky turning gray. Coffee in a cracked mug resting on my knee, reflections in the liquid are enough for me to see that the ladder we are building doesn't reach to the sky. It just gives us a vantage to watch the birds fly by. Also another log on the fading in a flame. Nothing in the distance ever stays quite the same, but the stillness is a vessel that is never truly void, filling up the spaces that the daylight once destroyed.
Heavenly and settling like dust on a shelf, finding a way back to a version of myself. The wind in the garden is a flute made of bone, playing for the traveler who is walking alone. Starlight filters through the rust and the brine, taking back a portion of my borrowed time. Let the gravity pull until the edges grow soft, lifting every burden from the dusky halo. Easy to be simple when the world goes dark, searching for the flicker of a solitary spark. Keep the motion easy, keep the water flowing deep, while the rest of the kingdom is sinking into sleep.